Hi friends, welcome back. So stocks were rallying today as CPI inflation has cooled a bit. I want to go through some numbers, share my thoughts, and get yours as well. So first, let's look at the headline here. U.S. inflation ebbs for first time in 6 months in relief for Fed. So we're seeing inflation cool a bit. And now people are like, okay, when are you going to cut, Mr. Jerome Powell? Please cut now. Please cut now. I don't think they're going to do it. If they're going to do it, maybe in the fall. And the current predictions in the market is 225 basis point cuts or 0.25. So, we'll see what they end up doing. I always say this all the time. My personal opinion is that they should just hold rates steady the rest of the year. But we'll see because political pressures are real. The challenge I have is you got to keep the economy going, but also to try to cool inflation. So can we have both? We'll find out. This is where we are in right now in the CPI chart. 3.6 and 3.4, depending on if you want to include food and energy. So around 3.5% is where we are with inflation. You can see here also, this is month over month. The estimate for CPI was 0.4. Actual came in at 0.3. You can look at core, 0.3, 0.3. Both estimate and actual are the same. And it also goes with both year over year, both core and total CPI. You can see here also that, actually go to this next chart, here we go, 0.3 month over month, and the last couple months was 0.4, so it was a bit cooler than we were before. The big worry though, and I've been telling you guys about this also, is going into the summer months, what will energy costs be doing? I will say though, one of the things that is positive is a positive angle. So that's my book over on Amazon. It is not cooling. Actually, we had more sales last month than the month before, so that's great. And month sales are really good this month as well. So I do appreciate you guys picking up a copy, and if you haven't already, it's available on Amazon, and I think you'll really like it. So it's called Positive Angle. The other thing is I was actually surprised that Tesla was down today. Even a couple people mentioned in the comments of like all the market's green except for Tesla. Yeah, it was noticeable. They were down 1.92%. Even Boeing was down as well, but that's not necessarily a big surprise. The other thing too is Walmart and Target were also down. I think that signifies a little bit of the weakening consumer, which we'll talk about in a moment here because this is sort of the big story. Inflation is cooling, but also is consumer demand is also cooling, right? So the thing is, like, yes, we want prices to come down a bit, right? It seems like everything's so expensive at the market, but you also don't want, like, and I'm talking about like say supermarket, but you also don't want a situation to where it's coming down in prices because no one has any money anymore to buy said things, and things have to keep going on sale. It's kind of like with Tesla, right? They have to keep making things on sale, and if you have two problems, but that's a different topic. But whenever you look at these kind of things, is like, what are consumers' ability to pay, and also too, what is consumers' demand for said good? Something like food, right? Energy, we always need these kind of things, and so that tracks a little bit differently than say luxury goods, which more discretionary kind of spending, to where people are like, hey, do I want to get it or not want to get it? And they can choose. Whereas like food, I kind of always want to get food. This is a chart here. You can see here. Small cap has been doing a good month, 5.64. NASDAQ, 1.55 on the day, and this is the NASDAQ 100. So I understand it's not the whole NASDAQ, but this is the simple way to track it. One of the things that I'd like to do, guys, is show you all sorts of things. When in doubt, because some people always ask, what should I do with my money? When in doubt, build your base on just buying the S&P 500 as a whole, and then you can kind of figure out from there, if you want to go more bonds, if you want to get particular individual stocks, or if you want to just do some sort of ETF that tracks a particular category that you're interested in. I like to show you this kind of stuff, so this gives you sort of a broader way of thinking about it. For example, in the past month, dividend growth, high dividend yields have been doing good, but I acknowledge, and that's why I show you everything, that momentum in one day does 2.33%, whereas your dividend growth, and it takes a whole month for 3.78. The problem with this kind of stuff is it depends what you want, right? If you're value low volatility, and just make sure that you don't have to go down 70% in a day to try to get that up 70% in a day, and that's something that we'll see with the meme stocks, which are rallying recently. They can be much too volatile, and you lose a lot of sleep over that kind of stuff. And something that I've learned through my years of investing and saving and doing financial stuff is it is worth quite a bit of money to be able to sleep at night and just have peace of mind, so you're not stressing out every single day. Yes, we do track this stuff all the time, but guys, I'm never stressed out. I don't play that game. But I know a lot of younger people do because guys, I get it. It's fun and it's neat to track this stuff and go, oh my God, 70% a day. It's crazy. But this is something you have to like really, really keep your eye on. And sometimes this happens. You may have a whole bunch of money, right? That's moving up and down on the daily basis. But you also have your job and your life that may be going up and down on a daily basis, and it's hard to keep track of both if you can't just sit and watch your phone all the time. So this is sort of why, as you get older, I'm just telling you guys, and you get a lot of other responsibilities in your life, you don't necessarily want to sit and just watch individual tickers all the time. So this is why you would do different things, right? And also too, if you do end up playing the higher volatility, craziest stocks, but use a very, very small proportion of your portfolio. You can play them, but you're not so crazy worried. If you're putting 100% of your stuff into the stuff that could go to zero, yes, I completely understand. It's a lot of stress, and you lose sleep, and you age, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Sort of why I put different categories of stuff for you guys to look at, so you understand what we're talking about here. But again, sometimes people ask, what should you do, and just a general word of advice is picking up the S&P 500 index is pretty good, and then like I said, you can build out from there. Depending on where you are, in your financial journey, if you want to go more income, if you want to go more growth, if you want to just get like, and I try to mention different things, like you want to just get a bunch of CDs, bonds, if you want to pay off debt, which is always a good thing, especially if your credit cards are really high or your car loan is really high, etc. And given current interest rates, they probably are. So I know we talk about a lot of stuff all at the same time, but I just wanted to emphasize, I think it's a disservice to you if you watch any channels and they only talk about, whatever doggy coin or meme stock, to not talk about a total financial picture. So anyway, that's why I show you guys this kind of stuff. Also too, if you want to take a look at categories, it's interesting. Utilities had a pretty good month. And it's funny because, no one really talks about utilities because they're not sexy, but yeah, they've been doing good, like 11% in the past month. The loser this month in terms of stocks has been energy. And then let's see, today looks like the big one was technology, but we can kind of saw that on the other charts. And that's sort of why you look at a bunch of stuff together. The other big story as well is actually the dollar was sinking a bit. The big winner compared to the dollar, the US dollar that is, I guess the Australian dollar in the past month has really gained on the dollar. But has the dollar peaked? And that's an interesting question. I'll just say it's still trading very, very high. So it's not like the dollar's crashing or anything like that, but other currencies are catching up. And I think maybe the markets are thinking, okay, maybe the Fed's going to cut. Now, in terms of inflation, I want to dig in through some of the data in particular. There's a couple things that really stuck out to me that I think is worth noticing. So first is, every time I look at this chart, what is up with this, man? Juices and drinks are still elevated. Now, before, for a long time, whenever you look at this chart, it was always like car insurance was like the craziest one that was keeps going up. But yeah, juices and drinks. You also got beef roasts and frankfurters are going up like crazy. Yeah, and I always mention this question as well. So for us, and I'm just telling you guys our opinion and stuff. When we go to the grocery store and we have choices of meat, right? You can get pork, you can get chicken, we can get beef, fish, whatever, lamb. Actually, we saw lamb at the store the other day. And I mentioned that because basically we just buy whatever's on sale. So I'll eat it all. It's all fine for me. And it is actually quite noticeable when you see food prices. The one was with juices. I was down the juice aisle, I think was it just yesterday or 2 days ago, and it was like $10 bottle of juice. And it just seemed too much to me. And I can live without juice. I'm fine with that. But yeah, I'll be curious in USA if you guys are seeing higher prices of juices as well. Looks like tomatoes are up 4.7%. Vending machines are up. The ones that are the cooler ones are the electricity and the gas, which is kind of interesting. And this is also other things to be looking at as well. Video discs, other media up 29%. And then vehicle insurance was at 22.6, so that's still up. Missions of sporting events is up. And actually, I think we're in baseball season now, so I'd be curious if anyone's gone to a baseball game lately in the USA, and you can tell me what prices are. Just curious. Let's see this. Care for invalids and elderly home up 13%. Motor vehicle repair up 9.8, right? So these are different things that we track. Now, the thing that really sort of stood out to me the most here was actually shelter, right? So this is something key where no matter how you break down these numbers, right? There's certain things that you need. You need a place to live, you need food to eat, you need energy to keep the lights on, etc. Because the reason why I mention that is when I'm looking at this chart here, the stuff that seems to be cooling off, the big one is right here, negative 6.9%. and talking about year over year, was used cars and trucks. Okay, so that number right there, that read is bringing inflation down a bit. But then I look at like, well, but my shelter's up 5.5. So, shelter I use every day. Do I buy a used car and truck every day? No, I don't. And so this is sort of why, even though the overall numbers, may seem like, hey, it's looking good, our price is good, but I still go to the store and I still see things elevated. And, chances are if you're in the car market, you maybe just going to hold on to your car a little bit longer. And I think that's part of this, right? So there's less demand to go buy those overpriced cars, and essentially that's how a market works, right? If people don't want to pay that price, they got to lower the prices to try to move them off the lot. And we've been talking about before, and I'll make another video on the Tesla situation where their cars are stacking up in the lots. And the other thing too, which I think is interesting when you talk about this stuff also, is the transportation services is also up. That's year over year, like 11.2%. Other standout here, what is this one? Yeah, electricity up 5.1%. Food away from home, I guess, is cooling off a bit in terms of prices going up. And this is something that actually there was a story about McDonald's. They were actually, I heard right here. They were saying they were going to try to reduce prices, like a $5 meal to get people through the door. But this is concerning, guys. This is part of the consumer demand or consumer habits, or you want to call it. Is cooling off. And we also can talk about consumer confidence. But if McDonald's is having trouble getting customers through the door and they're having to lower prices, now they did say, according to this, at least it's just for a month, but it is a little bit worrying. And I was looking at a couple other things that were, this retail sales, that they were talking about here. So this is Home Depot, and they were saying, so they're the home improvement company, and they're saying Tuesday sales declined for the third consecutive quarter to start 2024 as homeowners' prospective buyers wrestle with higher mortgage rates and inflation. And then Starbucks, they said they're also lowering their sales expectations worldwide, and then the McDonald's saying. And so this is sort of like, these give you indicators of what the general consumer is feeling. And this is when I mentioned before in the video yesterday when Google and OpenAI released their new AI products, and they said, they're cool and fine and dandy, but can you find enough people to pay the monthly fee to want said service? One of the things that, say, for example, to use YouTube example, YouTube, which is owned by Google, or even Google Search, are really popular because they're free. Yes, you pay with your time and your data, and then they advertise to you, et cetera, but it's free to use as a user, same way as something like a Facebook. So when I see a softening consumer, and these are, Home Depot, Starbucks, and McDonald's, it sort of signals, for the broader things. And then also too, I can't remember which company exactly. Don't quote me on this one. I think it might have been Coach or something. It was one of the luxury brands that was saying that they are having a softening consumer also. So a couple of the things I was reading, it was saying for some people they have to pay more on food and energy, and then they're cutting back on other expenses. And love to hear your guys' thoughts on this stuff as well. If you're kind of curious, what our life is like here in Korea, every now and then I show you this. I took a picture of our lunch yesterday. And I always like to share this stuff because some people, have never been to Korea, you wouldn't know. We have actually a vlog channel. I'll put a link down below if you want to watch our vlogs on sort of our life and kind of the food that we eat. But this was lunch yesterday. And I'll be curious, just take a look at this picture. How much would you pay for this in the USA for two people? So that was my wife and I. I'll tell you the price in Korea. It's about $10. That's for both of us. And that's all in. Tax, and then there's no tips here, so that's all in. So $5 a person, and we split this, and it's honestly, guys, it's really good. This is fish, and then it's like I got to see that, what would that be? Like I think that's your fish cake kind of thing here, and this would be different vegetables. So you're using different greens, and then you have this would be like a kimchi thing, and then this would also be like a vegetable, and then this would be like like kind of a rice. It's not really soup. We'll just call it rice water, and then you get rice, and then. Some of these places, and I think this one also, we never asked, and this is a little fishies here. We never asked for it, but I think you can even get extra if you want of the side dishes, not the main. The main dish is your fish right there, and this is like a bean thing. But this is the kind of stuff we eat. It's inexpensive. They have a lot of these home food restaurants around town, and essentially you go to these places and it just like go into grandma's house, and they cook you basically what's equivalent to home food. And we can eat this kind of stuff at home, but it's just so much more convenient. And you guys know what it is like. If I had to prepare all this stuff every single day, like all these different side dishes, it's such a hassle. But anyway, just sharing with you guys. So yeah, we're price conscious as well, but also too aware of our health. The other thing too I want to mention, and this is a story, and it just relates to the OpenAI stuff. I guess one of the guys is leaving. His name is Ilya Sutskever, and he may or may not go start his own company. Who knows? Then another person left as well, and it's interesting because I think what's going on is there's a fight about how much to monetize said thing, and there's a lot of money in this stuff. I made a video about the OpenAI thing yesterday, and I was thinking about this stuff because, like, say in the food example, the restaurant that we go to, they could raise prices and we would still go. But it comes to a point to where, like, if they raise too much, then we just go somewhere else, right? This is just a market. It's you know, you have many choices of restaurants to go to, and I think these kind of things where with the AI situation of, like, you know, essentially people always have to look at their pocketbook and say, okay, is it worth it to me or not? There's a divide here of, like, should we make this kind of technology, you know, have a paywall of it where it's not necessarily open for everyone. And it's kind of interesting how, you know, they call it OpenAI and now they're trying to monetize said things. So anyway, just wanted to share all these things with you, and I hope you guys understand that the point of these discussions is, again, what's the Fed doing, what's the market doing, what are stocks doing in various sectors, how's the dollar related to, you know, various currencies, and also too, what's the consumer thinking? Do they have the ability to buy said goods, and also too, do they have the want, right? There's two different things. There's demand and also ability. So anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Love to hear your thoughts on any one of these things, and I'll catch you next video.